Good morning from hot and sunny Manchester here in England, everybody. This is FUTV United TV. This is your 8 o'clock live show, bringing you completely up to date with everything going on around Manchester United. I know you're on the school runs. I know you're out for work already, but I've got you covered. So just listen in, tune in, whatever you're up to this morning, I've got you covered. We're going to go through everything that is out there in the public domain that we can talk about around Manchester United. We've got information on exits for Manchester United, big updates on Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Another update on Hugo Ekitike. And I did say over the last couple of days, don't listen to that initial price tag. There is something that will be different and lower, and I think we have that price tag now. What are Man United prepared to do to get Ekitike though? More information on a Part X. Interesting one on that. I'll get your opinions on that also. We have got a poll running right now because we are talking about the exit straight out the box this morning on FUTV United TV. Who is the most important exit from Manchester United this summer for you? And get into the comments section if you're catching up later on as well. Who is more important? I've got 4 options there. There could be more added to that list because if you are a Man United fan, you know that there is a big shopping list of players that we don't want at this football club. But if you were to choose one of the top 4, which I think is either Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho or Antony, they're the big 4. Who is the most important for you? And if you want to add a comment in the comment section to add a bit of context to that, fire away, please, everybody, and get into it. Let's kickstart today, Tuesday the 17th of June. Hello everyone, hope you're doing fantastically well. Hope you got through Monday. The transfer window reopened yesterday. It took a while to get going yesterday, but it's starting to kick into gear with not just Manchester United, other clubs as well. I know that's not as important to us, but some of them clubs and the actions that they're taking in the transfer window right now do have implications on Manchester United also. So I'm going to talk into the detail of the other side of things as well this morning because it will impact what happens with United and certain players in particular. One of them on that list that's in that poll right now, in fact. But we're starting with the news around Jadon Sancho. So late last night, there was news coming out around a possible exit to Napoli. Now, I just mentioned then other clubs and what they're doing and them impacting Manchester United. And Manchester City are actually one of them. Now, Manchester City ballsed up the AC Milan move for us, for Marcus Rashford in January. No drama in the end. Rashford still went out on loan, so everyone was happy. But AC Milan took, obviously, Kyle Walker instead of Marcus Rashford, being them non-EU players that they can take. They're limited in Serie A. And now it looks like there is a list of 3 for Napoli. And 3 interested players, all from Manchester. Jack Grealish from Manchester City. Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United, as we already know. But now Jadon Sancho being on that list of players that they're looking for to bring in on that wing. They are going to buy a winger this summer. They are definitely going to be bringing someone in. How much money they've got to spend, I don't know. They're in the Champions League. They are the champions. You'd expect them to have a lot. But like we've said before, and we did go into detail last night on this, is that the other European leagues aren't as rich as the Premier League. Now, Jadon Sancho is an option, and he will be an option, I think, for a loan. Sadly, I know that Damasio came out last night and said that Man United's Jadon Sancho is a realistic option for Napoli. I think they're looking at him because they can get him on loan. Maybe that would play into our hands a little bit because they could also get Garnacho. But there are other stories coming out. Matt Lawton of The Times, I think, is actually saying that Napoli are looking more at Jack Grealish now rather than Alejandro Garnacho, which is a bit of a concern because that then leaves us with just Premier League teams for Garnacho. And actually, it might not be a bad thing because they're probably going to pay more than what the Italian teams would. So we could look at it a couple of different ways, that one. But yeah, Garnacho aside right now, Jadon Sancho being the interesting part in this is that he would go on loan. There's no way that Napoli are going to pay any money for Jadon Sancho. I think we have to make this clear. That they would take him on loan. And they know the situation and what's going on. They'll be well aware of what is happening with Jadon Sancho right now. And there is an opportunity for Antonio Conte to bring somebody in quite cheap and probably be able to afford part of his wages if they're not paying a transfer fee. It would fall right into what they need. And they could probably then go out and buy Jack Grealish on top of that as well as another player in. Now, obviously, they have to be very, very careful in terms of what players they take in that are not EU players and things like this. But when you look at that situation, you would say, yeah, I could see that happening. I think that's realistic. And obviously, we don't want Jadon Sancho to go out on loan. We want him gone permanently. But needs must at the end of this transfer window. There was no room for Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. I think we were well aware of that. And I think Manchester United have got some big decisions regarding that extension of his contract, or whether they're just going to completely cut ties now, maybe try and get a loan fee off Napoli to take Jadon Sancho, pay some of his wages, and then just wave bye-bye at the end of the season. And that's him done. Released from Manchester United. Another player, another wasted talent, a mercenary that has just completely rinsed Manchester United. But then there is another option. And Sully came out last night. First time he's tweeted in a while, actually. So you can take this as a definite, as this is actually something that is happening. We have actually talked about this before, but several Saudi Pro League teams in for Jadon Sancho. Now, that would definitely suit Manchester United a lot better. Look, Jadon Sancho probably knows he doesn't stand a chance of getting back into that England fold. He wants the money. He is chasing the money. Football doesn't matter to Jadon Sancho. He could have gone and played in the Champions League for 150 grand a week wages. Didn't want to do it. He wants the money. He wants to go elsewhere. He wants to possibly try and force a loan move to another Champions League club so he can still play at the highest level and earn the wages. But the biggest thing is for him now is the wages and what he wants to be paid. And if the Saudi Pro League do come in, that probably suits Jadon Sancho. I think that he will be given the world there. He'd probably be on 350 to 400 grand a week wages if he went to the Saudi Pro League. And maybe that is an appealing attraction for him for the money and where he's at in his career right now. You could argue that he's still young, he's still only mid-20s, but when you look at what he wants, if Manchester United get wind of any possibility that he could be sent to the Saudi Pro League, even if they get a small transfer fee for him at this stage now, I think Jadon Sancho, even if you're taking 20 million quid, you get rid of him at this point. Do you know what? There's a side of me here that thinks, you know what? If the Saudi Pro League comes in and offers Man United 15 million up front and takes him away and he's off the books, I think United take that as well. It sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? It sounds stupid, but at the moment we're staring down the barrel of it's Saudi Pro League for a cheaper fee, or he goes on loan somewhere else and leaves at the end of the season, next season that is, for nothing. So what would you do in that situation? The Saudi Pro League teams is a little bit of a get out, I feel, more than anything for Jadon Sancho and Manchester United, more importantly. So that, I think, is key in all of this, in where Jadon Sancho is actually at. Does he want the wages? Does he actually want to be playing at the higher level, football highest level? I think, for me, Jadon Sancho right now, if you were asking me and I was just giving my opinion, I think he would want to go back to Germany again and play in the Champions League, the life that suits him the best. I think that's, in his career, been his best move, and that's where he would want to go. He knows he's probably going to get paid still the same amount of money because United are going to have to obviously contribute to that wage, and he's going to be playing at a decent level where he's loved. I think that's what he ideally wants. At the moment, it doesn't look like there are many offers on the table for him. Now, Dortmund could obviously come back in, but while Gittins is still there at Dortmund, Sancho's going nowhere near Dortmund again. And they're obviously their sporting director has come out and spoken about the situation. We know Jadon Sancho well, but he is not on the agenda at the moment, and there is nothing in the pipeline for Jadon Sancho to be moving to Germany, not to Dortmund anyway. Could Jadon Sancho be used elsewhere in a make-weight deal for somebody else, you might add? That might actually work out, but then again, Jadon Sancho wants too much. And Jadon Sancho's wages are going to scupper any sort of move to any club on a transfer, a permanent transfer, because of his wages. He wants to take one more year of rinsing Manchester United for as much as he possibly can, and then he's probably going to have to accept a low wage wherever he goes. In a year's time, Sancho is going to be on less wages, probably half as what he's on now at Manchester United, guaranteed. Nobody on the planet is going to give him that money unless he goes to the Saudi Pro League. And this is what I find staggering with Jadon Sancho's mindset and why I cannot stand the man, is that why don't you just go now? Why don't you actually go out there and prove a point, take less wages, and make something of the rest of your career? Actually build yourself up to a point where you probably could get a contract on lower wages but with a load of incentives and back yourself football-wise. No, he wants the guarantee. He doesn't want to have to work, I don't think, for his wages. And that's been proven in the fact that he doesn't want to go to Chelsea. Now, there would be Chelsea bonuses involved in that ways that Chelsea were offering as well, and incentives there, but he doesn't. He wants the guaranteed money. And obviously there is an element of his agent talking down this as well, because obviously the agent is the one that drives everything with these players these days. So that, I think, is where Jadon Sancho is at right now. And please do get into the comment section and let me know what you think and what the best move would be. And let me know where you think Jadon will end up going. Personally, I think, like I just said there, he will end up going on loan. I think he will end up going on loan somewhere. United will end up having to fork out some money. Maybe they'll get a loan fee or some bonuses out of that loan move, and that will be about it. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything else happening with Jadon Sancho personally, unless he is open to going to the Saudi Pro League. I pray that that is the case, but I will not get my hopes up, is what I'm saying with Jadon Sancho. Before we come into the comment section, I want to bring in his partner in crime as well, Marcus Rashford, and the update on him. Isn't necessarily an update directly on Marcus Rashford and where he's at, but Nico Williams now being priority number one for Barcelona completely ends all hope for Marcus Rashford's dream move, and a massive smack to Marcus Rashford's ego right now. There is a serious rethink that needs to now happen with Marcus Rashford. This, after what we said yesterday, Barcelona's club credits now being moved from stable to positive, and them having a little bit more freedom financially has given them the opportunity to now go in for Nico Williams. And Nico Williams coming into Barcelona ends all hope for Marcus Rashford. It's straight down, simple as they're not going to spend any more money on anyone. Man United will not loan Marcus Rashford out for the wages that Barcelona will demand him to be on this season. I just cannot see them going for both Rashford and Nico Williams. Look, at the end of the day, this could be a blessing in disguise for Manchester United. We all want rid of Marcus Rashford and this saga to end. But Barcelona being quick off the mark now and moving quite swiftly to go and get Nico Williams, as said by Fabrizio Romano, and may just open up the door for Marcus Rashford to move to the other clubs that we were discussing last night. Now, we know that Villa would still take Marcus Rashford. We know that, obviously, the Spurs are involved. He doesn't want to go to London, that's the thing. But maybe Newcastle or somebody like that. Newcastle, Birmingham, one of these clubs comes back in. Aston Villa, I mean, from Birmingham. One of these clubs comes back in for him. And the reality is that he can go to them clubs and perform and play every single week and get into that England team for Thomas Tuchel. Honestly, if there was never a clearer warning sign for Marcus Rashford in destroying the rest of his career, even though he's probably dented it massively already in what he's done now, this is this big moment for Marcus Rashford now. He needs to make a massive decision, obviously, on his career, and he needs to be determined in what he really wants. If he is looking at what he thinks he should be getting rather than what he wants to earn and get back to, then he's going to be dead. He's going to be finished in football. If he accepts that Barcelona don't want him, you're not that good, which you're not. You can be, but you have proved to everybody over the last couple of years that you are very, very inconsistent and are not that player that everybody thought you was. If you can get back to the couple of years before that by playing for somebody in the Premier League, where you know you've played well before, then Marcus Rashford's back on the scene again. He's not going to play at United while Ruben Amorim is there. He needs to get that in his head. There have been some talks that Marcus Rashford is going to come back and have conversation with Ruben Amorim, and he could possibly come back into the United fold. I can't see that happening. I can see the talks happening because he has to come back anyway, because that's what he is contracted. That's where he's contracted, and he has to come back and have them discussions anyway as to where his next move will be. But there's no room for Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. He isn't a number 9, which Ruben needs. So anybody thinking he could just come back in and slot into Man United's number 9 is mistaken, because Ruben's already called that out. He doesn't meet the characteristics, and the fallout anyway is going to take him a million miles away from ever returning to Manchester United. So that, I think, when we look at everything that's in play here right now, forces Marcus Rashford into actually going to one of the teams that he should be going to, and I think he will excel at. That is massively important for him and really important for United, because I think there's a better chance of United getting better money if he stays in the Prem. I don't give a shit where Marcus Rashford ends up in the Prem. If he turns up against us and scores against us, I don't care. I really don't care right now. We have to think what's necessary and what is needed for Ruben now. That's him gone, money in the bank, pure profit. Let's make something happen in the Premier League. Hopefully Marcus Rashford has seen this as a sign now. Nico Williams is better than him. For Barcelona, he's better than him. He needs to understand where he is in his career. And if he doesn't get this right now, it could be the end of him. It really could. I think Marcus Rashford moving to Barcelona is the end of him anyway, because he's not going to start every single week. That's not going to get him into the England fold. And it will be a complete and utter waste of a career. And he will just peter out into absolutely nothing. Look, and from United's point of view here, they just want Rashford gone. They want the money in the bank. They don't want to have to be dealing with him. But while he's a United player, we're talking like this because we need Marcus Rashford out of the door. We need him to make the right decision. His people need to stand up here now and actually tell him what's necessary. And that is moving away from United to a club where he's going to play regular football. He will excel. We've seen the moments that he was having for Aston Villa. The one against PSG, for instance. That was a massive moment for him. That was like the old Marcus Rashford, contributing, direct, aggressive football, aggressive attacking play. And you know what? He can be a weapon for someone. I think he's ideal for Newcastle. I really do. I think Eddie Howe is a brilliant manager for him, just like Unai Emery was. I know he's going against one of our rivals in what we're hoping to fight for next season, which is top 6. So what? This is what happens in football. First of all, let's get ourselves playing better football and up into that top half of the table, and then we'll deal with Marcus Rashford at Aston Villa. I'm really not bothered is where I'm at with that one. But Nico Williams to Barcelona plays a significant part in where Marcus Rashford ends up now. And that, I think, is massive news. Both Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford are two players we know need to be out, which is why I went with this story above everything else this morning, because we know where we're at. We know where we're at with everything else. And this, I think, is significant because this is the biggest move that we've had with Sancho and Rashford so far since this window was opened. So I think this is the most important story out there today. And I now think that we're going to start getting a bit of movement regarding Sancho and Rashford. One way or the other, I think they're going to be both in the headlines over the next couple of weeks now. Because I think this is the type of story that needed to happen for everything just to be sort of set in stone and we know exactly where we're going. By the way, everybody, while I was just talking about them two nightmare players for Manchester United, FUTV hit 85,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for all of your contributions and all of your support on the channel. Again, another landmark in the bag, everybody. 85k. We are less than 5,000 away now from our target for the start of the season, which is 90k. I don't want to mention the big number just yet, but we are getting closer and closer, everybody. So thank you again. If you haven't already, join in with everybody else and hit that subscribe button. Stop all the negative people now who are going to unsubscribe because we've hit that landmark. Go and smash them out of the water. Hit that subscribe button and let's propel ourselves way past that 85 mark right now, because I know there'll be some people that will just do that because they're saddos. But thank you again. And coming into the comment section as well now, just to see where you're at with this Sancho and Rashford news. Andreas, thank you for the super chat, mate, first of all. Why will they want Rash? He is not nearly as good as he thinks. He will not make the United team. How will he make it in other teams? Sorry, but it's crazy. Rashford as a winger, as an attacking left-sided winger, is perfect for Villa. He's perfect for Newcastle. Yes, they've got Gordon, but I don't know how he would work that. I just think he suits a different style to Ruben, first and foremost. So if you can take the fallout aside, Rashford doesn't suit this system, just like Garnacho doesn't. Just like, I mean, Sancho might actually suit it better, but I think that's long down the road anyway for him leaving United. So Rashford just doesn't suit it, and he doesn't like it. Ruben's come in and he's told him where to go. So Rashford just, I feel, needs to go where he can fit and where his style of football is going to suit that team and how they play. And that is Villa. That is Newcastle. That's where he is. He's a Champions League club player, but not an elite team player. He's never going to play for Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG. He's never going to get in any of these sides. Never in a million years. And that's what he has to accept now. And that's his fault. That is his fault. Nobody else's. His. And what he did. Simple as that. Hopefully, this is the moment for him where it sinks in. Barca have said no. Where else am I going to go? PSG have said no. Barca said no. The other clubs that I just mentioned, forget it. He needs to be where he is now. Villa, stay there, Marcus. You will excel. You will be great. You will be loved by Villa fans there. He fits Emery. Emery wants him. Emery is willing to build a team around him, for God's sake. He dropped Ollie Watkins for him. Understand where you're wanted and what fits for you and go for it, mate. Rash, don't want Geordie. Don't want Geordie Army. The poser. Again, somebody needs to tell him these things. That's what's important for Marcus Rashford right now. That's where this conversation needs to go. It needs to go to his entourage, his people, whatever it is. Like, sit him down and tell him, this is what we need to look at now, Marcus. In terms of our poll, who is the most important exit from Manchester United this summer? You've got 4 options. It's Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, and Antony. If I told you right now, Antony's at 3% of that vote. If I said this and did this poll a year ago, you'd all be absolutely pulling your hair out at this result right now. But wow, what a difference a year makes. Marcus Rashford is second behind Jadon Sancho. Sancho is probably the most hated player right now. Former Man United player out there, isn't there? Oh, he's not even a former United player. He's actually still a United player, which is scary. But 39% of the vote has gone to Sancho so far. Rashford's at 34%. Garnacho 24%. And Antony 3%. Like I said, that is extremely interesting. I'd have thought it'd have been Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford, but this goes to show, after everything that Marcus Rashford's done, he's still only second on that list behind the nightmare that is Jadon Sancho. So that goes to show you exactly where Man United fans' minds are with Jadon right now. The bin, basically. Right, let's get a couple more comments in before we move on, everybody. Need Rashford and Sancho to go to Saudi? That's the answer to our problems. It would be the holy everything, wouldn't it? If both of them went there, that's not going to happen. It's not. We'll be lucky if Sancho goes, because the wages would be gone, contracts gone, massive amount of room for Manchester United once that happens. And if they gave us a fee on top, quids in. Absolutely quids in. Manager of Barcelona, where do you find the time to present this show, Adam? Manager of Barcelona. I'm not sure what you want about there, Gary. Have I missed something on that one? Don't know, mate. Steve Charles, you got it wrong. Way round the players like Sancho follow Rashford. This guy has been the problem for years. His attitude is disgraceful. Adam, you have really got it in for Newcastle to want them to take Rashford. No, I like the Geordies. I do. I think it's funny. Look, we took Mbumo, so you can have Rashford. There you go. That's how we sort of. That's how we counter taking your top transfer target. We give you Marcus. What's wrong? There you go. Happy days. Everyone's happy. Love this channel. Much better than a golden boy lecturing us every day. Blink. Love that comment. Thanks, mate. Rashford, because he can get pure profit, high wages off the books. I have no interest prioritising a move for Sancho. Look, Sancho needs to be gone, mate. Let's be clear. Sancho is a massive problem for Manchester United because we're not going to get any money for him unless we sell him this summer. I think that comes into the equation as well. I'll say the big number for you, says Greg, 100,000, because it's more than you deserve. You represent our fans and get the news for us every day. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much, Greg. Love that, matey. Love that. Keep your comments coming in, everybody. Make sure you do pop a like on the video as well if you're enjoying the content. There is a lot going on with United. We've just covered Marcus Rashford's and Jadon Sancho's situations. I want to move on now to Hugo Ekitike and the incoming side of things. Now, we said yesterday, the reports going around that Manchester United, among other clubs that are chasing Hugo Ekitike, have been informed that it won't be 85 million quid. He's not worth 85 million quid. We know that. And I said this from the start. It won't be 85 million. And I did mention Mamouche. Now, I'm sure Paul Hurst of The Times and Jamie Jackson of The Guardian weren't watching my show yesterday and just made this story up in the tabloids. But both of them publications have gone with Manchester United have been told that it's going to be a figure more like Omar Mamouche to Manchester City, which is in around the 60, 63 million pound mark. Did I not say exactly that? They've got form for it. It always starts high and then it just plummets down every single time. It's sensible from Frankfurt. He is probably worth 50 to 60 million at his age and the goals he's scoring. So the question I want to ask everybody right now is, would you be happier taking Hugo Ekitike at 63 million and not 85 million? That is a massive drop of 22 million pounds. Does that fit in a little bit more? Does that make you feel a bit more comfortable in knowing that Manchester United will only be paying approximately 63? And believe me, a 63 million will be made up in some add-ons as well. So you could see this being exactly the same deal as what we've done for Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo, if we do go down the Hugo Ekitike road, that is. So that's where this one is at right now, I feel. And this was expected. And with several people running this story, you can expect this to actually be genuine. That is the right price for Ekitike, I think. I say 50 to 60 million for the season that he's had. The couple of seasons, good seasons, about to break into the French national team as well. 5 out of 5 in under 21s for France. He's doing it at every level he's at right now. There is potential. He's a player United have scouted. He's a player United know very well. I think United will be happy to spend 60 million on Hugo Ekitike. I think that's a good investment in their eyes. As somebody who has showed a little bit more than what, say, for instance, no disrespect, Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund had before they moved to Manchester United. I know he is up there with the price, but let's just see how it goes. Right. In terms of the, let me just see right now. Checking out everything that's actually happening in the news. Quickly. A few things have just caught my eye. Everything is good on that side of things. So going back across the Hugo Ekitike news that has just dropped there, get into the comment section and tell me, is 63 million okay for Hugo Ekitike? Frankfurt is negotiating to buy Jonathan Burkhardt to replace Ekitike. Why don't we buy Jonathan Burkhardt? He is 24 years old and has scored 3 goals more than Ekitike in the exact same league. You could say that, but then you could also say that he hasn't helped his side out of nowhere get to the Champions League. Is he as good a quality as Ekitike? He may have scored 3 more goals. But is it all about the goals? Is it about the progression of the player? Is it about what else he brings in, like the assists as well for Ekitike? Is it the characteristic, the profile, the speed, the pace that Ruben Amorim wants to use in his team, rather than just somebody who has scored more goals, who is cheaper? Manchester United are not going to go out necessarily and buy a player because he's cheaper. They're going to go out and buy a player that they think there's value in, that fits what they want and in that system that they want to play under Ruben Amorim. And that is crucial in Man United's recruitment right now. 63 million, that seems fair, one said. MA says, no for 63. He's the same as what we paid for Højlund. No, we paid 75 million for Rasmus Højlund. If you're selling me that Ekitike, who is a better striker than Rasmus Højlund, going off this stage of his career, which it is going to be approximately 15 million cheaper than Rasmus Højlund, I'm taking that. I'm all right with that. 60 million is a fair price in modern football right now. I don't think it's breaking the bank. And let's not forget, if I said to you that this deal would then move into the realms with his wages, 63 million, is this going to cost, and this is going to cost Manchester United approximately 13 to 15 million in PSR a year with his wages and this transfer fee in instalments. What would you say then? That's pretty much where we're at. I reckon it's probably... No, actually. In reality, what would it cost? It's probably going to cost Manchester United, I reckon, 15 to 17 million in PSR a year. So buying Ekitike at that price this summer will cost Manchester United about 17 million. Somewhere around that mark. All in. Is that not good business? I don't think that's that bad, to be honest. I really don't. And a player there that I feel... has shown more, has got more to give as well, and I feel is ready-made for Ruben Amorim's system. He's quick, he's direct, he's tall, he's strong. He runs over the top, he holds the ball up. He's everything that Ruben wants. And alongside players like Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, that might be the way forward for Manchester United. let's see what else we've got in the comment section with this, because there is another part to this that I want to bring in quickly as well on Ekitike. Lawrence says, if you miss your targets, then you shouldn't splurge on panic signings, because that's how he ended up with Rasmus and Onana. Sancho, to an extent, break the cycle. Can't Ineos pack Rashford off to Nice, the French league, and and Beaches should be spot on for him. They can't afford his wages, and United would have to pay for him to go there. And we can't do any transactions between Nice and Manchester United either. We've still got a ban until the 1st of September, so we cannot do any transfers between United and Nice. That rule is there. I don't know why people haven't picked up on that one, actually. Andreas, Ekitike versus Mateta. Who will be the best for Manchester United? Who are the best for us now? That's a question for the chat. Who would you take? Would you take the proven player that's got another 5 years on his opposite number? Or would you take the potential of a player that is really showing signs of quality, and more than you could say a few other players that United have made mistakes with in the past? And I will say he has, because he has. I think he's a safer bet than both Rasmus and Xerxes, in my opinion. And by the way, I get what you're all saying. Anybody who's not on board with the Ekitike because you've been stung before by Rasmus, by Xerxes, then I get it. I'm not saying that you're wrong, by the way. I'm just trying to make the argument, because everybody's piling in on him, Ekitike, that is, like he is the same as what Rasmus and Xerxes are, and he's not. He's not. That, I think, needs to be brought up and made a stronger point of. Sorry, Adam, I disagree. He is just another young, inexperienced player. I would rather have a proven, experienced striker who could also train Chido. He's not. I get what you're saying, Ricardo. He's not going to train him, but he can obviously influence him as well. I get it. It's fair. It's a fair comment. It is. My choices this summer: one of Visa and Mateta, or Jonathan David. Going for, I see that there, Lief, like proven Premier League quality. I get it. I understand it. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Ekitike is the answer. I'm saying that Manchester United know what they're getting with him. And it isn't a panic buy. Everyone says it's just a panic because we haven't got our top targets. It's not. He's always been on Manchester United's radar. He's always been on our list. He's always been scouted and well recruited by everybody at Manchester United. He's known by Vival. He's known by United before Vival. And so everything aligns there. In terms of the characteristics, he fits what United want. So all I'm saying is, even if you don't think he is the right player, comparing him to others that we can get because they're more experienced, don't just dismiss him, is all I'm saying in this one. But also on Ekitike, Manchester United apparently are willing to throw in either Joshua Zirkzee or Rasmus Højlund. Now, I cannot see Joshua Zirkzee being moved by United. We spoke about that yesterday. I think if there is an opportunity to move anybody on from Manchester United in a make-weight deal, it would be Rasmus Højlund. And you know what? That might actually work out really well. But in other news as well regarding Rasmus Højlund, let me know. Is there a player that you would throw in? Maybe Jadon Sancho could be made as part of this deal. There you go. Take Jadon Sancho. That'll do. Make that happen to get Ekitike in. That'll soften the blow for us massively, especially with PSR anyway. But in terms of Rasmus Højlund as well, the news that is going around, the most frequent news as well from what's happened from last night, Alfredo Padula has come out also. Rasmus Højlund wants to return to Italy. He really likes the Inter option. However, Inter need to reach an agreement with Manchester United. Can United get an agreement with Inter? This keeps on gathering momentum with Rasmus Højlund. And if they can get to it, go for it. It changes everything again. It opens up the avenue. So if United manage to break even with Rasmus Højlund and this transfer, it will allow us easily to sign that striker that we need, because we've got such a big PSR payout on Rasmus Højlund, or still to run. If we manage to break even with this deal and sell him on and clear that off the debt, even if we didn't make a profit, even if we just got rid of that, you could replace that deal with another one easily, because Rasmus Højlund's valuation, or what Man United paid for him, was so high. if United take advantage of this, this could be the deal of the summer for United. It could, in terms of outgoings anyway, because I never expected Rasmus Højlund to be leaving. I would want him to leave, but I just didn't think anybody was going to get near Manchester United's valuation of him. That was always my thought and always my concern. Where I like the stories and I like the idea behind it, I just never was convinced that United would be able to find anyone who would buy Rasmus Højlund. But the Inter story just keeps on coming up, and this now, I feel, is massive for us. If we can get rid of Rasmus and clear that off the books, if we can somehow manage to move Jadon Sancho on as well, it's massive, because we can replace them PSR deals with others. It's like for like. The debt stays the same, or maybe a bit less, because we're paying someone less than what Jadon Sancho's on right now. But the instalment payments, they're approximately what we're paying, nearly close to, I would say, for both Jadon Sancho and Rasmus Højlund. Jadon Sancho's probably up there near the 18 to 20 million pound mark with them stupid wages that he's on. Rasmus Højlund's probably like the 16, 17 million a year in installments with his contract, and then payments for his transfer fee. You have got big players there. If you get rid of them, they're big PSR players that you could bring 2 more in with instantly and just make a deal very similar to them. And then that's how United are running now. So if you take them away, you replace them with 2 others. And that's an easy thing for Manchester United to do, on paper anyway. But that, with them 2 situations, I think even more so than Garnacho right now, it would be a massive impact for Manchester United. They would. So that, again, I think is where United are at. They're all 4 of them big guns there. Your Sancho, your Rashford, your Antony, and your Garnacho. They're the key players for Manchester United. But if you add Rasmus Højlund to that list, he is just as valuable for selling for Manchester United than the others, because of that PSR package that he's on. That frees up a ton of room for Manchester United, because Ekitike will be less a year PSR-wise than what Rasmus Højlund would. Gyökeres would be less than Rasmus Højlund would, near enough, depending on his wages, maybe similar, just a bit less. That's where we're at with it. The Athletic have been talking regarding the Andre Onana situation as well, just to bring you up to date with everything that is going on. Andre Onana's representatives held a meeting with United figures last week and is expected to stay this summer, but the club could still sign a backup who can provide him with competition. Like we've said all along, Manchester United just cannot get rid of Andre Onana. Nobody wants him because he's shit. That's the problem we're up against. They can spin it and they can work it into any sort of baloney story that they want. But everybody knows that nobody wants him because he's crap. And Manchester United are stuck. So maybe another goalkeeper does come in and then takes over from Andre Onana. And then next season, his people would probably try and force a move. 3 years into his payments, it's a lot easier to move Andre Onana on. He's going to be a liability. A massive liability. And again, if we can bring in a number 2, a decent player, in as a goalkeeper, he has to be starting next season. I think the player that we bring in as a number 2, or I think they're covering it as a number 2, to be honest. I think they want to bring in somebody to come straight in, but they're going to just say number 2. I don't know why we're protecting Andre Onana so much. I really don't. It is embarrassing. It really is. Let's get into the comment section on this one as well, everyone. In terms of all of them transfers that I've just talked about there, please do give me your thoughts on them. I wonder, Ekitike snubs us and we somehow end up going for option 7. Ekitike is good for literally every team, just not us. Get Mateta if possible, or we're done. He may be stiff, but it gets the job done. I don't think so. I think Mateta's a great player. I think he's had 2 fantastic seasons for Crystal Palace. And again, that for everybody tells me that they want Premier League proven. They don't trust anything. They don't trust any player coming in. It's interesting, like, nobody's had an issue with Mbumo. Nobody's had an issue with Cunha because they've seen them. The fear for all Man United players is Manchester United's recruitment. And let's be honest, like, you brought in so far, what? Under Ineos, you've brought in Joshua Zirkzee, Ugarte, De Ligt, Mazraoui. Lenny Yoro, look, no one's got a problem with Lenny Yoro. I don't think this recruitment team is bad at all. I would trust in them getting the right player for Manchester United. I don't think Xerxes is a bad player. I think he's got better. I think they've seen a quality in him, and I do believe that he will play a part for Manchester United this season. I think he would have got to double figures in goals easily if he didn't get injured against Newcastle. I really do think he would have got better and moved forward. But let's see on that one. I think a big part's to play for the likes of Xerxes this season. Big judgment out on Ugarte as well. I've just talked about the positives of the signings. Ugarte is probably my one big concern right now with Man United and the players that we brought in last summer. The others, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Yoro, got no concerns. Xerxes is getting better. Ugarte has regressed, I feel, since coming in. Started off all right, but has been too hot and cold for me. But then you're looking at Obi Martin coming in, you're looking at Heaven coming in, you're looking at Dorgu coming in, all cheap signings brought in with this new recruitment team that nobody's bitching and moaning about now, but nobody wants to talk about because we want to look at the negatives. This is what we're looking at. So we've got Diego Leon to come in as well. That could be another player that turns out to be a long-standing Manchester United player. You don't know yet, but like I said, you need to give the recruitment at least 3 to 4 years to see if them younger players coming through that cost us hardly anything do impact the team. 2 of them already, in Dorgu and Heaven, are making a big impact. We're looking at Chido possibly being our number 2 striker next season. It cost us nothing. Absolute peanuts. So that, I think, is something that we need to look at as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think some people are missing in all of this. Like, it's not about the big gun players. We've got proof here in the players that we brought in that they weren't big names. We didn't pay too much money for anybody, I don't think, last summer. And they've all done a job. It's the front line which has destroyed Manchester United this season. The players that we already had. They're the ones that we're trying to move on. It's the Rasmus Højlund. It's the Marcus Rashford. It's the Alejandro Garnachos of this world. These are the players that are just not doing it for Man United. Not what we've recruited over the last 2 years, because that hasn't been that bad. And that's why I would give this recruitment team the time of day to try and make something happen, because I think they will get it right. I do believe that they will get it right. Manny with a super chat says, I would be surprised if Xerxes, Cunha and Mbumo shared a number 9. I would not be surprised, sorry. Jonathan David on a free is still ringing in my ears. The free, again, everybody looking at the value. Maybe they just don't like what Jonathan David is, and he doesn't fit the system, even if he is free. I said this before, Manchester United will not buy players just because they are cheap, just because it looks like that's an easier signing to make. Thanks for bringing it up, Manny, as well. Let's just see now as well. Regarding Omar Barada and what he has just said about Ruben Amorim, this was an interesting read as well, so I'll read this out to you. I'm speaking to Andy Mitten of The Athletic. So Andy Mitten's written this. Omar Barada on why the club backs Ruben Amorim. So by the time that we got to now, June 2025, we'll have had all the discussions about what does the squad need, the 2 or 3 year plan to get the squad to that to create a squad that's capable of winning the Premier League. That's what Omar Barada has said. We are very clear. We have a very clear roadmap of how we're going to get there. Had Ruben started on July 1st, 2025, for instance, we wouldn't have been able to have all the knowledge, right? As a question mark. And that's what I feel these 7 or 8 months that he's had. He's suffered in the Premier League, and the team has suffered. That's why I feel that it's really going to help us in the future. I agree with that. I've said that before myself. All of this suffering now, Ruben being able to do what he's done with these players in the middle of a season, seeing what these players are like under the spotlight, when the real scrutiny is there, when it really matters, and them downing tools, and them not being able to perform or give what Ruben needs to play his system. We now know everything that needs to happen this summer. Rather than going from scratch now, we've had the worst season in the club's history by a mile in the Premier League, and now we know exactly what's needed and what we need to do this summer. There's a clear roadmap, there's a clear plan for this transfer window, and isn't it actually nice being able to hear from people in Manchester United's hierarchy? Do you know why? Because they know what they're talking about. They've been there before. They are football people. Before, you had the Murtos and the Bleeding Arnolds of this world that didn't know nothing, the Woodwards of this world that didn't know nothing about proper recruitment, director of football type of conversations. This now looks like and sounds like a football club rather than a business. I know Manchester United are an absolute institution. They're massive. They are a juggernaut when it comes to business. And yeah, that's fine, but that's all we've heard about over the last 10 years. Now we have football people running Manchester United, which is why I feel these decisions on certain players are being scrutinised and handpicked a lot better than what it was before. These are not panic buys, is the point I'm trying to make. There is a plan, and all of these players that we're looking at and talking about would have already been discussed. Because this time, Man United have got people at the top level that will listen to the scouts and not forget about their comments and scouting reports and pass them off. It's not going to happen like that anymore. And that, I think, is something that we need to take a massive amount of encouragement from. And when we're doubting these moves for these players, or we're doubting these players individually for what they are and what they've done, we just need to remember that this recruitment team, this management team, is buying a squad that fits the system for Ruben Amorim, but also players that have the qualities that work in different systems as well. And this is the future of Manchester United, because Ruben's not going to be here forever. And look, he may get this wrong. We may be having a conversation before Christmas comes around about Ruben Amorim again. Look, the jury is still out on Ruben now. I back him, and I have backed him, but you all know what I said back in the last season. I fear for him this season if he doesn't get the right players in, and we're stuck with the same players again. I do think it's just going to go back to where it was. But the players that we are bringing in are clearly players that this club has fought through and said are the best bet for Manchester United and are exactly what we need right now. And I believe in that. I do think that they are the right players. You're not going to convince me that these players are not better than what we've got. You can't. I can see it like straight away already in what's happening. Manchester United are moving forward in a big way. Let's check this poll. We've nearly had 3,000 votes on this poll now. Who is the most important exit from Manchester United this summer? Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho or Antony? And leading the way is Jadon Sancho still by 3% to Marcus Rashford with 39% of the vote. 36% Marcus Rashford, 22% Garnacho now, that's come down, and Antony stuck at 3% still. I would probably agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Coventry paid $1 million for Gyökeres in the summer of 2021. The player was 23 years old. Yep, and was struggling. Unfortunately, Adam, that's all they're doing is talking. Is it? Really? Are you saying that getting Matheus Cunha and nearly getting Brian Mbeumo in the first month of the window is talking? No, it's not, is it? Well, the teams that want to win the league are doing bits already in the transfer market, like City, who are in the Club World Cup, who are getting 50 million quid for just competing in it and will get 100 million for getting anywhere near the semi-final, who have money to spend because of that competition. Oh, and Liverpool, who won the league and didn't actually spend a penny last summer, so have got loads of money to spend right now, compared to Manchester United, Ricardo, who had their worst ever Premier League season and are still doing a lot more with hardly anything. So it's not talking, it's real action, mate. And I have to completely disagree with you on that one, mate. I think some people, a lot of the time, are convinced by other people talking the complete negative constantly about Manchester United and ignoring any kind of positive that's out there. Look, I'm all on the negatives, and I'll be honest when I see it, but I don't see it in this window, and you're not going to convince me that Manchester United are the same as they was before. They're not. They're nowhere near as bad as what they was before, and the proof is there in how we're operating right now. I just mentioned Chido, Dorgu, Heaven, £27 million for them three players. This is not talking, this is action, this is recruitment that every single Man United fan has been moaning what we haven't been doing in the past. Honestly, like, we're looking right there now. Look, we got Heaven, who is 18, Yoro, who is 19, Chido, who is 17. We're talking about these players featuring for Manchester United, all brought in by this recruitment team. I'm sorry, you're not going to tell me, and I'm never going to be convinced by anybody saying that this is just the same United. It's not. The biggest moment for this football club was when Ruben stood up to the status quo and what this club was about and the culture of it. That, I think, for me, was the biggest point, and that was the start of something. And Ruben has been the one that has stood up to it. I think right now, this transfer window, and don't get me wrong, like, I will judge it at the end of it if we haven't bought any more. But as it is at the moment, I can't say that I'm not happy, because I am. I am happy. There is a story going around, by the way. Obviously, tomorrow, everybody, get excited. The Premier League fixtures are out tomorrow morning. Oh, shoot, this is where it gets all fun and games, doesn't it? But obviously, this always happens, by the way. Leaks of the Premier League fixtures. I think this could have been the most made-up bunch of fixtures ever. So listen to this. According to leaked Premier League fixtures circulated on social media, Manchester United are set to face Tottenham on August the 17th. Honestly, with everything going on, the way the season finished, it had to be Tottenham. Man, mate, I would be absolutely amazed if that was genuine. Absolutely amazed if that was genuine. I don't believe this. Just go through it. Look at these fixtures, that somebody put up here. Leeds United versus Arsenal on the Friday night. Cracking game to start off. Wolves v Chelsea on Saturday, 12:30. And then your Saturday fixtures would be Everton, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Burnley, Brentford, Bournemouth. The evening kickoff in the Premier League on Saturday is Brighton at home to Liverpool. Another good game. Sunderland v West Ham on the Sunday at 2 o'clock. Forest v Aston Villa at 2 o'clock also on the Sunday. Manchester United against Spurs away at the Spurs Stadium on Sunday at 4:30. Okay. And then Newcastle versus Manchester City is your Monday Night Football. It kind of seems like someone's just thought up what would be a good bunch of fixtures and put them on a piece of paper there. I don't think that will be the fixtures coming out, but we can all guess. Reality will hit us tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We may even do an extended show here on Forever United TV tomorrow morning just for the fixture announcement as well, on top of all of the news. But yeah, I can't see them fixtures holding there. I don't believe them. And this happens every single summer. So I'll wait till tomorrow morning before the fixtures come out. And then I'll discuss the fixtures. But not with that. Thank you, Peter, for the super chat. Adam, mate, recruitment is light years ahead of what it used to be last summer. It was brilliant, in my opinion. This year looking good. Positivity people. Peter, I'm loving that. Positive Pete. That's your new name, mate. Change that on YouTube to Positive Pete, mate. Yeah? That's your new one. Thank you, my friend. Diego Leon will be a beast for us at left wing back with Dorgu as backup. It's the right side that worries me. We will have Dalot or Ahmad out there. True, but we've got Mantato and Kamasin also coming through the ranks. By the way, Diego Leon is going to be in Man United's academy first. He isn't coming straight into the first team unless something really positive happens on the pre-season tour and it's impossible to drop him. But then again, what's going to happen to Harry Amas as well? He's another one fighting for that left-hand side. Dorgu could end up on the right. Don't count out Dorgu being on the right wing-back. He has played there this season, has performed all right. Anyway, isn't it good actually having Saturday football back for Manchester United also, though? That is a big positive. No Europa League football, so no Thursday, Sunday constantly throughout the season. That'd be nice to have a few Saturday games and have a normal weekend. Look, my weekends are jam-packed as it is with football. But yeah, it would be nice to actually have some Saturday football back at Old Trafford and away from home as well. I'm going to try and get a few away games in again this season. So really looking forward to that. Okay, everyone. That is our show this morning. Massive thank you. While we were live, we passed 85,000 subscribers. We're already on the way to 86, as you can see there above. If you haven't already, join the FUTV army, everyone. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification button alongside it to keep updated on all Manchester United news. I've got you covered. That's your 8 o'clock show done. Pop a like on the video if you are loving the content. Make sure you drop your comments in below again, please, everybody. Quickly, just before we go, Manny is in there with another super chat. Manny, thank you, my friend. I'm confident we'll sign another right wing back to back up Ahmad, a dog who can play either. True. I don't think we've got the money though, mate, to actually make that signing. I'm not sure, but we are done. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely brilliant. Mods, fantastic job as always. Members, everybody, all the regulars, all the newcomers, welcome along. Thank you again. I'll see you all later. Stay tuned. Updates will be coming out at midday of anything that is going on. And obviously, I will be breaking anything that does pop up out of nowhere. Schedules are hard right now because there's so much going on. But I will see you probably around about 12:30ish as usual. And then into the evening as well.